What's up, Lions fans? Welcome to Season 1, Episode 14 of the Lions Main Podcast. Back in the win column, we have a lot to discuss, so the guys will share their reactions and hand out their game balls to the most deserving player. And we'll give our opinions on who has room to improve heading into Week 4. Once again, you can find us on Twitter at Lions Main Pod and Instagram at Lions Main Podcast. Tune in and give us a follow.
This is the Lions Main Podcast.
I love that little jingle. That thing always gets me excited. What an amazing voice you have, Drew. Speaking of Lions Main Podcast fans, we finally have a full cast. Drew's back from the dead. I know last week we just spent those 2 episodes putting him down, and Jim said that he wished that Drew would die, but we all wished Drew. We wish that he would get better, and he's here joining us. So.
Jesus Christ, fellas! I was like basically in a fever dream coma, listening to the podcast. As I'm coming in out of consciousness, just listening to you guys roast me.
Well, good. I mean, at least you listen to the podcast. That's all that we can hope, right?
Get that T-cell count up, buddy.
Right. We're also joined, again, I said we have a full cast. So our average Lions fan, Jacob Smith, you guys, if you guys tuned in before, you've seen his abysmal performance answering a few very simple Lions questions. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think he's sitting at 60%
Yes.
on his total count. He's joining us again today, returning from a long trip to Italy. This dude is a world traveler. Jacob, how you doing? Good to have you again.
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. How was Italy? You have a good time out there?
It was phenomenal. It was hot. The food was great. The wine was better. I recommend it.
There was rumors that your privates were out in public at one time.
I can't confirm nor deny this, but what happens in Italy stays in Italy, Jim. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Jim, you asked too many questions, man.
Well, look, I'm just saying. I'm just trying to learn about the world.
Fair enough. Jim, George, you guys were faithful last week and stayed on the pod. How you guys doing?
Doing all right. No complaints. We're back in the win column, like we said. Happy to be here.
It's a good weekend. Yeah,
Yes.
no, it was an absolute great weekend. The Lions
Victory
went down
Monday.
there.
Come on.
Say it
Let's
again?
get the energy. It's Victory Monday, boys. Let's get the
No,
energy.
it
Where's the energy?
is victory. It is Victory Monday, and I'm about to bring it because apparently I had 2 wins over the weekend. So obviously our Lions went down to Arizona and they represented, right? Down in what is that, Glendale? I don't know where that stadium's at, but went down there and it looked like there were more Lions fans at the Arizona Cardinals Stadium than there were Cardinals fans. So once again, Lions fans, good on you for showing out. So that was awesome. But most importantly,
definitely not more, but it's we're part of the best fan base in the country.
oh
so.
yeah, no, dude, it was waves of Honolulu Blue fans out there. So it was awesome. But
Tons mixed up in the crowd. When you look up, I saw those photos. That looked crazy.
There were a ton.
Audible "Let's Go Lions" chants throughout the game.
Did you hear the Jared Goff chant?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They love that. And he showed out. We'll get into that a little bit later, but Goff did show out for the fans that traveled. I kind of made a dumb decision, though. So I booked tickets to the Michigan versus USC game before the Lions schedule even came out. And so I would have happily gone to the $34 ticket Arizona Cardinals versus Lions game. But bad planning, I got to watch Michigan, have an upset in the big house against the USC. Welcome to the Big Ten, USC Trojan fans. But without further ado, let's get into the Detroit Lions talk, all right? So before we begin, let's cover a little synopsis of the game events. And first things first, so it was as if Ben Johnson and the rest of the coaching staff were blessed with an epiphany from the Lions gods. Both sides walked into the desert and conjured a masterclass performance that would see Goff go 12 for 12 in the first half and 2 touchdowns. All of that was supplemented by a dominant run game and a lackluster showing from the Cardinals. Beautiful by Aaron Glenn. Detroit opened the game with a nine-play, 7-yard drive capped by a David Montgomery touchdown. It's almost as if that's like what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, I don't know what happened the first 2 weeks throughout the course of those games, but it's a little weird. Like, we should be opening every game with a David Montgomery pounded into the end zone. But I'm glad they did that. Again, I digress. So, as George so quickly often points out, I quote unquote glaze Marvin Harrison Jr., but this time it looked like it was warranted. So in the first quarter, Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. Carried on their connection from the week 2, and they tied up the score to 7-7. The second quarter was even more eventful, with St. Brown scoring a 5-yard touchdown, and then St. Brown pulling off this hook and ladder to Gibbs for another touchdown. I don't know what you guys had on your bingo sheet, but I definitely didn't have hook and ladder. Ben Johnson is extremely creative, but that wasn't on my list. Did you guys expect something like that?
I had no idea it was coming.
Did you shriek once you saw it?
It was. I mean,
The hook and
I
ladder
didn't
was
shriek like
incredible.
George, but
I shrieked. The last time I saw hook and ladder, correct me if I'm wrong, Kane, was you and Tim in high school? And I'm pretty sure we scored on that. That was
sick,
pretty
baby.
Sweet. You're at full stride then?
Oh yeah, that was
Good
sick,
days.
baby. Yep.
yeah, high school was the good old days, George.
They were good days. Yeah.
He's the one that said it.
He starts with this thing, man. You get going on this, and you got to get it sidetracked. Anyways, so if you guys tuned in to our preview of the game, I said that my matchup I was looking out for was the Master Prater versus the Master Bader matchup or battle that I thought would happen. And Master Prater showed his age, showed his capability that we saw as Lions fans, and he would ultimately win this battle against Master Bader, drilling 2 field goals to Master Bader's untimely missed extra point, which is unexcusable. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But AG had arguably his best half as a defensive coordinator, and the Lions ultimately won 20-13. Wrapped it up in the desert, baby. I mean, I know we do our game ball segment to start. So did you guys have any thoughts on who you wanted to give your game ball out to?
Yeah, I think there's this game wasn't a flashy win. This game was a take care of business win, but I don't think the offensive line was perfect by any means, but it gave Jared Goff a lot more time today. The running game, there was fits and starts, but for the most part, they were able to pound that ball, especially on those first couple drives.
Yeah.
I hate doing like a non-specific game ball, but I think that entire offensive line, particularly the interior, which had struggled last week and was injured, they really powered that win. I mean, I hope one of you guys is going to give one to AG. I hope one of you guys is going to give one to Golf. I'm assuming that some of those guys are going to get one already, so I'm going to give it to the big uglies up front.
No, that's a good pick. I think a lot of those guys get overlooked. Especially, I know in my mind I was thinking about giving my game ball to David Montgomery, but he can't do his job, and Gibbs can't do their job, and Goff can't do his job. If Penny Sewell and the rest of the gang out there isn't showing why they're the number 1 offensive line in the league. So that's an extremely overlooked but very good game ball. How about you, George?
As Dan Campbell always calls him, the engine underneath the hood. He refers to the offensive line. So good game ball, Jim. My game ball, bit of an obvious one. Amon-Ra St. Brown. We needed him to show who he was. He kind of did during the Bucs game. He had a decent game, but we lost. So as some people have been critical of me, stats don't mean anything. But stats were good in the Bucs game. Stats are even better now. 7 receptions, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. And he was part of that hook and ladder. Good bait. Great game out of Amon-Ra.
I also, just to add to that, George, I thought he was really good in the run blocking on Sunday. I know he got a little bit of criticism after game 1, but since that point, I think he's been a huge part. He's super physical. Something DC's been preaching.
Cherry on top, the Kai Cenat celebration after the touchdown.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I thought it was like
about that.
I thought it was just like a baby crawl. I don't know why he added the dog element in there. The dog element looked like
it was a dog.
It looked like a chihuahua, not like a pit bull.
What was Kai Cenat?
He did that on the stream one time.
So Kai Cenat asked Travis Hunter on his stream if he gave him like 2 dances to do or his touchdown celebrations, and one of them was to crawl around like a baby, and this was like the Wednesday leading up to the college football games, and so Travis Hunter did it at the end of the game in celebration, and then Amon-Ra did it obviously after his touchdown. So that's pretty cool. It was weird, but it was cool, I guess.
Yeah,
I thought it was weird.
I thought it was weird too.
You guys blow.
it's because he's the way he look like. Hear me out. This is gonna get a little weird, but his body portions, like he's what, like 6 foot, 6'1" maybe. He looks shorter because it looks like he has a super long torso and like short arms. Am I correct in saying that? Like he looks shorter.
I don't even think he's 6 foot. I think he's 5'11" without cleats on.
Okay, but it's something about his body proportions, not to be weird, but he looks a little off. Like short legs, short arms, long torso. So it
What do you
looked
think
odd to
about
me.
like what proportion of his is your favorite?
I like the German
What part of
aspect.
his body is your favorite, Kane?
Hey,
None. Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna have to
true.
mute you two moving forward. But Jim,
okay.
you might get your dream, Jim. Anyways, for our next game ball, Drew, who you thinking?
None other than Jack Fox, man. I've been known hater of our kicking specialist, but not our punter. I thought Jack Fox, he was essential in the game today of just like consistently pinning Arizona deep in their own territory. There was something like he pinned him on the he had the punt that pinned him on the 2. He had one on like the 9, the 10.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
it apparently the Arizona average starting field position was the 8-yard line. And so that was just huge for setting up our defense. I mean,
that's
like,
awesome. No, for sure.
Obviously huge storylines how well the defense played, but I thought Jack Fox, it was a huge part of that. Just kind of pinning him deep, and he's played great so far this season. I mean, outside of the 4th down conversion or pass last week, I thought he's honestly one of our best players.
Yeah. Is the punter one of your favorite positions in football?
I not one of my favorite, but
which one of you, was it you or somebody else? Which one of you corny dudes said that he's the best player on our team? Like we're Iowa.
George.
That's my overreaction for the week. Jack Fox is our best player.
We'll get to that.
We need a nickname for Jack Fox. I said
no,
Star
my God,
Fox.
this
That got
corny.
shut down. What? Master Bates isn't?
Star Fox is like, come on, bro. We get it.
Obviously,
you play Super Smash, bro. We get it. You wash your clothes
right,
once every 2 weeks. Come on.
Do a barrel roll, Drew. Do a barrel roll.
I'm not coming up with a nickname for Fox. If he does that if he does it a little bit more, I'm looking for it now. So if I see some more of that happen, I'll come up with a name for him.
All right.
How about that?
All right. How about that?
What about George? You want to come up with a name with him? I see the little antics he got. You want to come up with a name for him?
He likes Star Fox.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
I don't think the guy needs a name. I mean, Jack Fox works just fine, and he's the best punter in the league, baby.
Sounds like he's from a spy novel, honestly, Jack Fox. It's like a spy novel name.
Yeah.
Like Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher.
Sly Cooper.
DB Cooper. Speaking of
Star Fox.
Coopers.
DB Cooper.
Star Fox. Star Fox, no, too nerdy. I say that as someone who sounds like they'd play Super Smash as a living, but too nerdy.
All right, you nerd. Shut up. Jeez. So, most importantly, it's my game ball. Like we said, Aaron Glenn had an outstanding game in an extremely, extremely good second half against the Arizona Cardinals, whose offense looked like it was rolling ahead of this game. My game ball is going to, however, Brian Branch. I know he had that neck crunching injury, so I wish him well. But he finished the game with 6 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 pass deflections. And so I want to give him my game ball. I think he was instrumental. And I think I think Kirby gets the picks, but I think Brian Branch is all around our best defensive back on the field and probably our second all-around best player behind Aiden Hutchinson on the field. So I'm giving my ball to Brian Branch.
Yeah, and that's a great one. And, I think all of the secondary, including Terrion Arnold outside of that first quarter, again, iffy penalty, I think they played lights out, but you're right, Brian Branch looked like the best amongst a very, very impressive group on Sunday. So I think that's a great game ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was all over the field. He was a ball hawk.
Like you, Drew, he's a ball hawk.
How's that supposed to mean?
He likes
Frisbee,
finding
aren't
the
you known
balls,
for
bro. He
defense?
likes finding balls.
Aren't you known as a good defender in Ultimate?
Thank you, Kane. I appreciate that. But
Come
no,
on, man.
it definitely felt like every time there was a play being made, like I'd be like, oh, who was that? And it was BB.
Yep.
He almost got that pick too. He almost got that interception on the one where was it him and Kirby that collided?
Yeah.
You know what point I'm talking
Or
about?
Meek. It was one of the other DBs than him.
He like, had it in his hands. But
Yep.
no, I was
Yep. That's the story of our
definitely playing the
defense. The story of our defense this year, dropping picks. I think we've had like 3 or 4 drop picks in 3 games. Anyways, great game from them. But now to get into my favorite part of the week. You guys know I'm a hater. If anybody's hating, it's me. Who's on your guys' shit list? George, you look a little intrigued, man. Who you got? You look like you've been itching to say something.
My shit list. I thought a lot of people did well this game, but easy little shit lister, Master Bates, missed a PAT. Can't be doing that.
great
My
pick
question,
there, George.
My question for you though, George, is so he missed 1 PAT. He's 2 for 3. Like why are you so caught up on that one?
Well, like I said, I thought we had a pretty good game, and I didn't want to have to try to say somebody did bad that I don't think they actually did. So Master Bates missing that kick. I mean, PATs, you think they're gimmies, but people have been missing them lately, and I don't want to overreact just yet. But Master Bates, he used to be 100%. Now he's not. But Justin Tucker hasn't been looking good either. So
he's
knows?
Old, washed.
Washed.
Have you guys seen that that overall field goals have been up, like comparatively to years past? Like their touchdowns are down and field goals are up in the NFL as a whole.
I don't follow kickers like you.
I'm just saying it's another reason to get rid of kicking in general. It's been a really boring start to the NFL as far as offense goes. It feels like
I don't see how you get. I understand your disdain for kicking from a
no. I'll tell you.
angle.
I'll elaborate. Give me a second. So now with the change of the kickoff rules, now teams are getting better field goal or field starting position on offense, and they're only having to get 20 yards of offense to get a reasonable shot at a field goal. And so you're not seeing these like long drives. You're seeing, teams get to the 50 or the 45, and Brandon Aubrey for the fucking Dallas trots out there and kicks a long field goal. And yeah, I do think that's boring. I think that's boring.
I think the counterpoint is 2 things. One, while the number of 50-yard kicks is up a lot, there's some 60-yard kicks this year, but it's still a sub 50% thing. So like 20 yards gets you to a 67-yard kick. I hear your point, but like it's more like 25, 30 yards, which is still a couple first downs. I also think a lot of teams have now gotten to the point where if they get the ball to the 35 and it's like 4th and 1, they're going for it. I think touchdowns are down mainly not because of the kicking. I get your point, the field position, I totally get that, but like the NFL has done a bunch of too high safeties. They've basically tried to take away the explosive play altogether.
That's been around for 20 years. Dude.
I know.
No.
Listen, no. I'll let you finish. Let me say this.
Yeah, come on.
The too high safety, yes, Kane, it's of course been around forever. No shit. The point is they've been purposely emphasizing preventing big plays using deep too high safeties. It's a fact this year. There's the number of long touchdowns are down. The number of long sustained drives is up. So if anything, it's not kicking that's causing this increase. It's not literally kicking causing this increase in field goals. It's that defenses are preventing teams from bombing the field. And by the way, the teams that are still trying are succeeding. There's actually a graph or a couple statistics that show the teams that are actually taking the shots and not falling for the bait of just running the ball are still putting up big points. So the right coordinators are going to figure it out.
Go ahead, Kane.
I was just going to say, like, I wonder how much it attributes to how many injuries we've seen around the league at the receiver or quarterback position. Because if you look at Tyreek Hill and Waddle, they had half of the long touchdowns last year, probably in the entire league. and their quarterback's gone.
To your point, I don't actually think it's the kicking. Why touchdowns are down per se. I do think the field goals being up is in large part due to the kicking, but look, if you look across the NFL as a whole, you're seeing a lot of just like subpar quarterback play that's paired with like good coaching, and so you're not seeing like these pairings of good coaching with good quarterback play that lead to explosive offenses. I also like you look across the NFL. I think that the quarterback play is just not as good.
So are you attributing this to a quarterback issue, not a kicking issue?
Yeah, make up your mind over there.
I'm saying
you got an issue with football nowadays.
Holy fuck!
I'm saying it's been. I think that
you want more touchdowns. More touchdowns.
Hear me out. I think everything would be fixed if we got rid of kicking, but seeing that that's not happening, I got to attribute to something else. So,
and you're trying to figure out a reason. So maybe that's your thread that we'll pull on pause for the next few weeks just to see where that's coming from.
I'll give you this though, Drew. I don't know how I feel about the new kickoff. It seems kind of. I don't think it's special. It prevented injury. That's nice, but I don't like starting at the 30. It doesn't seem like anybody ever takes it and nothing ever happens with it.
You should have to return with it. If it
either have to return it,
you should have to return.
Or get rid of kickoffs, or get rid of just have them start with the ball. Like I don't get why we're doing
because it's a dynamic play that people love. Like back in the day when like kickoff returns were taken back for touchdowns more often, like that, like what the hell's his name?
Charles Woodson.
Well, Woodson too.
Devin Hester.
Devin Hester, like he literally was one of the most explosive players in the NFL, and he played like special teams to me is a part of the game. So I'm not going to get into like my whole philosophy on how they should change the kickoff, but they should either force it to be a return or make it more punitive for the offense. Like it shouldn't be at the 30. That's insane. And clearly like the reason that like I said, the reason scoring is down isn't because teams are like in slightly shittier field position or they're actually better. The reason is because they're taking away the long ball. Like if you look at yesterday, not to get into like the game.
Well, I think that's the quarterback play. I don't think that's just a too high safety.
Yeah. Well, an example of what I'm trying to talk about is Goff yesterday methodically moved the ball down the field with short passes. That suits his game. I think a lot of guys who like Anthony Richardson, like last year, everyone's like, oh, he's going to be awesome because he can bomb it. Well, teams are taking that away, so he looks like a complete joke. To your point, looks like a dumpster fire. Like guys who are like so reliant on explosive plays, like and can't check down, can't do all that type of stuff, are going to fail. They're just going to fail in the current NFL. Whereas a Jared Goff is actually, I think, going to have a good year because how many times does Jared Goff actually like to bomb it deep? Like 2 or 3 times a game. You know, like when he bombs it deep, I'm going, what the hell's happening? He shouldn't be throwing it 40 yards plus, in my opinion, very often. But that's to your point, Drew. A lot of quarterbacks, like they're just not built for this. They're not built for the people trying to force the intermediate routes. Like the best of the best are going to succeed, but like you see quarterbacks last year that looked like Sam Darnold. That guy does not throw a bunch of bombs. He throws a bunch of good, solid intermediate passes. That's why he's succeeding.
Yeah, fair enough. How about Derek Carr though, throwing bombs? So you lose.
Yeah, think of like the best the quarterbacks that have played the best so far through 3 games, and it's Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, like obviously Mahomes, but he was given to be there. But like all the like Brock Purdy, like they're not very exciting quarterbacks.
I don't think Brock Purdy's had a great season.
No, he hasn't. But
he's had better than Mahomes.
I mean, Derek Carr is notoriously good in the past, and Sam Darnold.
Baker Mayfield, like all the big plays.
Sam Darnold thrown some bombs this season?
He has thrown some bombs.
Exactly what you said.
No. You're right. But he's not succeeding because he can throw the deep ball. Can he throw the deep ball? Yes.
Yeah. They all can. Jefferson. They all can throw the deep ball.
No, but there's varying levels of who relies on it. Like Anthony Richardson, he's a deep
That's
ball
all he
bomber.
can do.
He's a deep ball bomber. That's what he does. That's what he's good at.
He can run the ball.
Call him B1 bomber.
He can run the ball. I know he's on your fantasy team. It's a sore spot. But the guy cannot throw the intermediate route to save his goddamn life. He just can't do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Give him time.
No, do you see that red
Jalen
zone
Hurts
interception
too.
he threw? He looked like
oh my.
He looked like Aiden Childs out there.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we didn't get to this in the weekend recap. I was at the Michigan State Boston College game in Boston. Scott accidentally, you're not supposed to be able to do this at most stadiums, accidentally bought us tickets in the student section. We were surrounded by a bunch of drunk 19-year-olds that were literally the worst people I've ever met. They were putting Zins in Scott's hair, fucking blowing vape on us, like trying to punch Scott's 20-year-old cousin just because he was going excited when Michigan State was number one. Scott should have checked the goddamn tickets. Number 2, Boston College, shame on you for selling that. Number 3, Aiden Childs, that was fucking horrific. Still wanted to start, but yeah, you're right. He did look like Aiden Childs.
Number 4, it was the red bandana day too, so crazy day for Boston College.
Oh my god! Actually,
and you guys were wearing green bandanas, weren't you?
Yeah, show support.
Damn. You went into a war zone and you weren't strapped.
The one guy was like, "You don't even respect what he did on 9/11." I was like, "Bro, you're fucking 18. You weren't alive for 9/11. You were born on the 5th anniversary of 9/11. What the fuck are you talking about, buddy?"
Yeah. Kids, man. Can't live with them, can't live without them.
I was getting shit talked by a 17-year-old. Anyways, my shit list player of the week. This, I mean, really tough. Like I think George said and Drew said, it was tough to pick this week. Obviously, I think Jake Bates is an easy one. I'm going to blame God/science/the field. That's my shit list this week because we had so many injuries. It was repulsive. I mean, just came out. Marcus Davenport's out for the year. What's his name? Barnes is going to be missing some significant time. Laporte is probably. I mean, he's going to. He won't be like long term, but you know,
Brian Branch.
Do you want to talk about that? So
yeah, no, go ahead. Bring him up.
Do you want to talk about that? Yeah. So I don't know if you guys caught the Dan Campbell press conference today. He did come out and say Davenport was going to be out, like Jim said, and Barnes, but everybody else is going to be day to day, which is good news, including Aleem. But do you want to talk about like what the long-term plan is for Davenport and Barnes, or
long-term plan is it might probably replace their production?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Barnes, they're not going to do anything because they, like you saw, Malcolm was getting a lot of time. Even Ben Neiman was in there. Like I do think also like off-ball linebackers, while super important, every position is obviously important. Probably be the least important. I would like the 3 levels of the field. Not saying they're not important, and if you have a great linebacker, it's obviously better vis-a-vis having a bad one. But I think they like Campbell. Anzalone's coming back, and you know, luckily Levi Onwuzurike can play a little outside. They have Josh Pascal, James Houston. I think where, to your point, Drew, there's going to be more of an issue is like, and that's replacing some of that Sam linebacker
and Germ.
And Germ, Germ, and yes, but. Davenport's going to be the one that's hard to replace because like he actually was like a good compliment to Aiden. He was like bull rushing. He was getting pressure. Like we're going to need to reproduce that. I think we can. Barnes is a great player, but I think we can reproduce that with the players that are healthy and ready to go. I think Davenport. It's going to be back to last year where like we're going to rely on the interior and the linebackers to get some pressure so Hutch can operate.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're pretty deep in the linebacker room. I think the biggest thing I'm sad about with Barnes is he seems like he was kind of stepping up into a leadership role. I know obviously Anzalone is that man, but Anzalone's 30 and Derek Barnes is 25, and Derek Barnes has kind of been, it seems like they're kind of getting him to be the leader eventually of the defense. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but so luckily we have depth, so it won't be the biggest impact, I hope. But yeah, that's my biggest bummer because I like Barnes.
And just to clarify, Dan Campbell said he would be out for, I think he said like some time. He didn't say anything about an IR, or obviously he didn't say he's going to be out for the season. But it seemed to be that there's going to be considerable weeks to allow the knee to heal, and then kind of figure out if there's if surgery is needed or whatnot. So it doesn't feel like we're going to see Derek Barnes on the field anytime soon.
Now it's good that we have that week 4 bye now, huh? It looked like it looked annoying to start the year, but it might end up being a blessing in disguise.
I'm interested to see. It's not really Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell style, but if they bring anybody in to replace that Davenport spot or just bolster the D end room or outside room.
That would be interesting. I don't know if they do that just because of what Jim talked about. They have Pascal and a few other guys in those positions. I think they're going to lean on them. They've been with us now for quite a few years. It's about time for them to step up. So, I mean, I don't even know the free agents. I don't even know if we could trade for somebody. I don't even have anybody that comes to mind really. So that's Brad Holmes' job, and he does a good job at it. So we'll see. All I can say is,
go ahead. All right, fine. We could be the third team this year to have Hassan Reddick on the roster and then not give him a deal, so he can hold out from us too.
Yeah. No, I do think that there will be some teams that are sellers, like come like trade deadline. I think that there's going to be teams that are trying to offload players, like the Giants, or so we'll see.
Interesting. No, yeah, I would be interested to see as to what teams you guys think moving forward would be willing, or if anything comes out of us talking to certain teams trying to acquire players. I'd be interested in hearing you guys' thoughts on that. But these injuries, for right now, they scare me. And as we get into our overreactions, after I do my person who's on the shit list, I'll get into how I feel about these injuries and its effect on our season. But for my shit list, he's just going to be here for a little while. I'm holding him a little bit more accountable than you guys like to. Stop going easy on the rookie. All right, just stop it. Terrion Arnold was the number one flag player in the NFL coming into this game. And I know you guys want to see him do well. He's a good guy, great spirit. He will be an eventual leader in the NFL on our team, hopefully. In the NFL, he will be, though. The flags got to stop. He got away with one. He had a big PI call, and then he got away with one on the 1 yard. He would have gave another team the ball on the 1 yard line again. We're lucky that the refs, for whatever reason, were on the Lions side for the first time in Lions history, because I'm sick of it. And again, he has quite a few plays where good pass deflection. Come up, make a good solo tackle. He also missed a few solo tackles that game. Come up, make a good tackle, whatever, pass deflection. But then he has a massive PI call. He's still on my shit list. I want him to go one game without a PI call, and then he's off my shit list. I'll go put Jake Bates on it just because I know you want me to him on my shit list. But one non-PI call to put him in the red zone and scoring position, he's off my shit list. That's my take. What are you guys' thoughts?
I think it's a terrible take. I thought he played pretty well.
I'll take a middle ground, and I'll say I agree with Drew that I actually think I know you said, and Marvin Harrison did look good out there, but he held him to under 70 yards. And Marvin Harrison, I do think, is going to be a top 5 receiver in the NFL within the next couple of years. And he's just a deep bomb threat. I do think you're right. They missed the one call, but the call they did make was there's been a couple that were obvious. A couple they called, though, I almost feel like it's hey, the refs have things they look for in a game. They're human beings. You know what I mean? They're looking for that guy's known to interfere on passes. Oh, we're going to watch him down the field. So even if the receiver and him are trading hands the whole time, which is,
right,
a lot of times that doesn't get called, it was getting called on him. So I agree that you can't cost your team that much every game with a penalty that puts them in a good position. But I think Drew's right that he played really sticky coverage the rest of the game.
Let me ask you, I got a question for you. Name a player on defense that played bad. Exactly my point. So you're attributing Aaron Glenn and the entire defense success. You're saying he held Marvin Harrison Jr. He didn't hold it. It was a group effort.
It was a primary coverage on him.
Well, Carlton Davis got scored on the end zone. What do you mean primary? The Kirby interception? Kirby jumped in front, and then
I didn't say exclusive coverage.
But Terrion Arnold, if you watch the game, Terrion Arnold had some crucial pass breakups.
So did everybody. So did Amik. So did Carlton. So did Kirby. So did Brian Branch.
But nobody was targeted as much as Terrion Arnold. Because they kept going after him after that first quarter defensive pass interference, and I thought he held his own. I actually thought that, especially in the second half, he was a huge part of the Arizona Cardinals basically not scoring for the entirety of the second half.
He played decently sticky coverage in the second half, but Kyler Murray also missed so many throws on third down that weren't even near the receiver. So why it's not coverage.
No. This is the argument against why Terrion shouldn't be on your shit list. You're saying that basically something he did in the last couple weeks is the reason why.
No, he did it this week.
once in the first quarter, and then he played great, and he's a fucking rookie.
This is a 1-score game. You can't be giving up 40-yard PI calls.
I don't like to take
add the 40 yards on the 70 MJH yards then, if you want to get technical. Add his penalty yardage up, and that's how many yards he has against them.
Well, I don't like your take, though, that just because everyone on the defense played good, that you can't say that he played good. And by the way, a lot of times Kyler Murray had 4, 5, 6 seconds that they weren't getting the pressure because they were trying to contain him, which means what? The coverage was fantastic. That means that the coverage, which he's included on, was good. So
that's a great point, Jim.
If they're only rushing 4, maybe 5, and at times 6, and Kyler Murray's still sitting back there with 5, 6 seconds, because that was the plan, was make Kyler Murray throw against our secondary. Because our secondary is not like last year's secondary, and again, Vildor actually was out there for a minute, which was scary. But it's not it's not like Vildor and Jacobs last year. He did. That's the thing. Not to get on a side tangent, but him, Jerry Jacobs, guys like that, they can play for a quarter or two. That's fine. They just can't be the primary starters. But point being, the Lions secondary, they put so much faith in them yesterday. They were like, we're not going to let Kyler Murray run all over us, and we're not going to let them run the ball. So we're going to make our secondary beat their receivers, because that's not like an elite receiving group, but they do have Marvin Harrison. They do have, what's the tight end's name? Trey McBride. Dortch is fine. Michael Wilson's a decent receiver. Yep. So, like, the secondary is, as a unit, including him, yes, he had a penalty. He needs to clean it up, because against really good teams, he's going to get ripped, if that keeps happening. But as a secondary, I thought that was honestly a secondary win yesterday. I don't even like the defensive line did their job and contained Kyler Murray, who had less rushing yards than Baker, I think. Maybe I'm wrong on that, or at least close, which is crazy, because Kyler Murray literally looks like a little mini baby Mario character running around out there. But
someone said that he the way he runs is like when your toddler cousin steals your phone and runs away. That's what he looks like when he's got the ball.
Yeah. I can see it.
Just to close it up, Terrion Arnold only had 1 pass deflection and 2 solo tackles and missed quite a few tackles. So
do you think he's progressed from each game?
Did he miss any tackles? What tackles?
He missed tackles. He missed a glaring tackle.
Where?
I can't go to the exact play, but I've seen him miss tackles.
You said
he had multiple. You said he had multiple pass deflections. He only had 1.
There was a couple where he teamed up with with CD in the third.
Hey, CD's nuts. Who's your shitless player of the week?
Ouch. Wait, did Drew already give his? I thought Drew already gave his.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't.
I was honestly my shitless player was just the second half offense. And I was gonna go through this, but we didn't score in the second half, and our drives were as follows: 5 plays, 17 yards punt; 2 plays, -7 yards interception; 6 plays, 42 yards turnover on downs. Those are 1 good drive of the second half. Then it goes 7 plays, 19 yards punt; 3 plays, 2 yards punt; 4 plays, 25 yards punt, and then we closed it out to end the game. Damn. And it's just it felt like shades of last year a little bit, where it would be entire quarters that the offense would go missing, and I don't know. It was painful to watch.
Yeah, it was painful. I mean, that's why I think we gave Jack Fox the game ball, because as you said it there were like 8 great punts that he had right there. But
punt.
Yeah. No, it was painful. And there were quite a few 3rd and shorts throughout the game, like 3rd and 3s, and they come out in a pass play, and it's got me ripping out the little bit of hair that I have left on my head.
I agree with that. I was like, what the hell? I like a pass play, don't get me wrong, but jeez, it's cram their shit.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
I do think at the end of the game, they almost got. I think they listened telepathically to all the fans saying run the ball, and then they almost got too much into running the ball. Like they were running it 4 plays in a row for 2 yards.
Yeah.
And then I was like, just throw 1 fucking pass on second A, just 1 pass will do. But they went from Johnson said, I'm not doing anything but running the ball. After at the beginning of the game and end of the game, he refused to not run the ball, because I think he heard you, Kane, and everybody else last week that was run the goddamn ball, please. But there was times when he abandoned that.
I mean, yeah, he must have heard me, because Lions Main Podcast, as we all know now, is the number 1 Detroit Lions podcast. So
he consults with us on the side.
Yeah. Give me a few pointers for today's episode. He was the one who actually called out Tyrion Arnold. He said he would target him. But anyways, go ahead, Drew.
It's hard to complain. And so we're being nitpicky here, but it did feel like against a better team, a team like with a more formidable defense. I think it could hurt us later on in the season.
Like Monday night, and I mean that's a good point. We'll get into that into our week 4 preview that we put out on Fridays, but I definitely think that could be a big. I like that point, Drew, and that's what's got me scared going into week 4. As you guys know, I'm the scary one. George is the optimistic one, so we got to meet somewhere in the middle. All right, so what are our overreactions for the week? I think I actually want to go first with this. Just because we did talk about the injuries, and they are an integral part of this week and the following weeks. With the current injuries that we have, if our offense doesn't pick it up, I could see the Lions potentially getting blown away by a good team that we play coming up. Namely, Seattle. They can score. They can play defense. They can do it all. They can kick field goals. They can do everything. I could see our offense not being able to keep up based on what I've seen so far with some of these other high-powered teams. But that's my overreaction for the week, and I know what Ben Johnson, Jared Goff, and the rest of the offense can do. But if you see it, don't say I didn't say
it. I can't speak for the injuries. That could totally hurt us. But I think we'll be all right. I know I'm the optimist or whatever, but
he played right into it.
I know. But I mean, what do you want me to say? Yeah, I think if our guys get injured, we're fucked. I mean, what the hell?
Bro, if Brian Branch is not out there, Barnes isn't out there, like, bro.
If he might be healthy.
Barnes won't be out there, so we're about to know.
Yeah.
I think Branch, how serious is Branch's injury? I think he's going to come back.
He's just in concussion protocol. Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, boo-hoo. He'll be back. Concussions are nothing. Nothing serious. They shouldn't be taken that way.
Honestly, Tua should be back out there already.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got Waddle, Jim, I got Waddle on my other fantasy team. This is hell for me. Get him out there.
I got Waddle on my fantasy team, and you know what? What's more important?
Hey, guess what?
Rich man's health or my fantasy team?
Guess what?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Nobody cares about your fantasy team.
There's a lot of Waddle and Hill owners out there that care, yeah.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, 2nd overall draft pick this season. Ugh, sick. Gross.
I will
got me 6 fucking points.
I'm in last place. I won't.
I'm not saying people don't care about fantasy. I'm saying people don't care about your fantasy team. People don't
your
care
team
about
is
Tyreek Hill's on your team.
My mom cares, and she might listen to one of these episodes someday.
Hopefully she does. I mean, the fact that she's not even subscribed to us yet just shows the lack of commitment, the lack of familial values there.
Well,
did she support her son?
Well, she did call me a dumb loser last time I saw her, so I doubt she. No, she didn't say. She didn't say.
She might cry from the heinous things you say on this podcast.
Or she'd probably text me and say, "You shouldn't do that. Your work's going to hear it." That's what she'd realistically text me.
I'm going to clip that. That might actually come back. But Lions getting blown away. My overreaction. George, what's yours?
My overreaction, I said it a little bit earlier today. Jack Fox, is he the best player on our team? We talk about Penei Sewell. We talk about Amon-Ra, Aiden. Jack Fox is, I don't know who else is the better punter in the league. And I don't know, I'm pulling this kind of out of my ass because I got no punting stats, but I've seen him you know what I mean? I don't even know where I'd start with that.
But he's got the swag. He's got
the swag. I don't think he even made an NFL team, right out of college. I remember hearing in an interview with him that he was, pretty down after college because he wasn't on a team, didn't know if he'd make it, and, tried out or whatever. And did eventually make a team, and now he's like one of the best.
Did he try out for safety and then switch over to punter?
Jack.
So what you're saying is, I hear what you're saying, and I kind of like that he showed out, this game. I would definitely not say that, but should we pay him? You think we should big contract?
You should be tossing the bag?
Yes.
Give him the bag, right? If he's going to put our defense, if he's going to start their offense at the 8-yard line every time, give him the bag, no?
Because the ball was in the air the whole time. It dropped.
Right.
where he put it. So like that's
Right.
insanity. And
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Whatever a punter,
No, I
whatever
agree with you.
bag a punter deserves, give it to him.
Right. It's almost like he practices that. I agree with you. No, but
Hey,
no,
if you've
that
ever
would
seen the special teams
awesome.
guys at practice, they're hardly practicing. I'll tell you that.
Yo, one thing I will say too, when your special teams is hell, it can be, as a fan, some of the most, like, if your quarterback goes and throws a few picks, you're pissed. But if your kicks are getting blocked, your punts are getting blocked, your punts are getting returned for touchdowns, you're gonna be ripping the little hair that you have in your head out of your head. So, been there, done that.
I should know this, but is he also the holder?
Great question.
I think so, actually. Let me... Because sometimes it's the backup quarterback, but it's not Hendon. So,
Yo,
think it's-
true or false? Jack Fox has more passing yards than Hendon Hooker this season.
true.
True.
Hey, he
True.
threw a
Pay
good
the man.
ball. Threw a good ball,
Pay the
too,
man,
by the
man.
way.
That was a great ball.
What a great ball.
I like that take though, George. If he becomes our best player and we look like fucking Iowa out there, I'm ending the Lions main podcast.
Well,
Long
we've
way.
been known
Long
to
way.
have special teams players as our best player, right? Jason Hansen for a little while was our
Matt
best player.
Prater.
Yeah.
I'd argue.
Those are the golden years of the Lions.
Hanson and the Prater.
Golden years, fuck. I mean, I wouldn't call them gold, but
Master Prater, baby. How about Jim? All right, Jim. What's your overreaction?
My overreaction, one of the four of us is not going to like this one. I think Drew might be the worst gambler on the show. I mean, 1 week he's not here, they can give our take, and the parlay hits.
I think that might be an underreaction.
Well, hey, I will say the parlay did hit. Congratulations. Adding one more leg to the parlay makes it, exponentially harder to hit. So I don't necessarily like. Who knows? Maybe who knows what would happen.
And
Oh,
adding
I don't know,
your
we
pick
should be
to the
listening to
parlay-
you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Adding your pick to the parlay makes it infinitesimally more harder to hit.
I honestly, I'll
infinitesimally.
take that. It's been a bad couple weeks for me as far as sports betting. Luckily, I bet big on the Lions to cover -3, and obviously they did. So I won some of my money back, but it's been. I'm not gonna lie to you. You guys are right. It's been a tough couple
Did you
weeks.
bet last week?
What? No, he didn't put his bet in. Or are you saying
You-
just outside of the podcast?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Outside of the podcast, did you bet? And if you're
Yeah.
were listening to our podcast, why didn't you take our parlay?
Hater.
I was in a fever dream, man. That was on you guys. I love the picks though. The picks were good. I think you guys are catching up.
They were damn good. We're catching on. You're hellbound.
Yeah.
You're hellbound.
That's
Uh,
awesome. All
That's
right,
my
Drew.
reaction.
Thank you for joining us again, man. What's your overreaction?
Yeah, happy to be here. My overreaction is that the Lions defense will be more crucial than our Lions offense this year to our success. I think, or just be the overall better side of the ball.
Oh,
Little Kansas City Chiefs action?
I honestly,
I like that.
I'm not sure if it's really it's a compliment to our defense. I think our defense is deep and has played really well. I think AG had I've been pretty outspoken about my criticisms to Aaron Glenn, especially against running
That's what I was gonna
quarterbacks.
say.
And I thought this was the best game he's coached in this regime, in this era. And I don't know. I think that if I'm reading the tea leaves, it feels like the offense is going to be a lot of like gritty. Like it's going to be a lot of focusing on the run game, pounding with Monty and Gibbs. And I think that it's not always going to look pretty, like it did last year. I think last year, like the offense looked really pretty, and I'm not sure that's what's in the cards. But I think that the defense is going to be easily top 10 in the league.
I like
They are
that.
so far. That's
Yeah,
a great.
no, I like
that
that.
a lot, Drew.
I think you should have that, whatever mentality you had when you came up with that. Put that into your betting. That was good. I like that overreaction.
Bet on the defense.
I like that overreaction. Well, if you stayed this long and listened to the pod, then you probably stayed because you want to hear Jacob Smith answer some more questions. Jacob, you still with us, man?
Oh, I'm here.
You weren't falling asleep now, were you?
No, I wasn't falling asleep. I might have drifted off to do something else, but I'm back. I'm here. I'm not sure that I deserve the title of average fan anymore, if that makes sense. I think I've dropped below
It's okay.
the level of the average fan, but we'll see. We'll see how the questions.
Well,
go.
you're
Maybe
here to
the
prove
questions...
that. Yeah, you're here to prove them wrong.
That's right.
I'll say this.
Maybe prove yourself.
Or prove them right.
True. I hope you prove me right tonight, because if there's one more Barry Sanders question, I'm going to lose it.
Boy. All right, Jacob, once again, thank you for joining us. I'm sure the fans who were listening were wondering where you were at. And as you so told them, you were in Italy getting all fat and happy. But you're sitting at 60%. I think Jim and I were against you. Drew and George were for you. George is riding. You riding, Drew?
I'm riding, baby.
Okay, here we go.
I'm
All
believing.
right, Jacob, are you ready for your 5 questions, man?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right, I just want to preface you with this. No pressure. You're sitting at 10 questions left.
Yep.
I know you're anxious. All right, here we go.
Real quick.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, Jake. Who was the Lions head coach during their last playoff win before this most recent playoff run? I'll give you a hint. It was in the 90s.
It was in the 90s.
If Jacob gets this, I'll smoke crack.
What the hell?
I know the answer, but I barely know the answer.
This is way above average Lions fan type
It's
ass
not.
question.
Last time he got asked, what's 2 plus 2
This is like the
equivalent?
second most famous Lions coach of all time.
Second most famous Lions coach. Most can even tell you the number one if it's not
George,
Dan
he got
Campbell.
asked what the name of the stadium is, and he got 2 Barry Sanders questions in the same week. I don't want to hear it from you.
That's trickery. That's trickery.
Oh, that's
honestly.
trickery. That's trickery. Who's
is.
running back? What running
All right,
back played
hey.
for the Lions in the 90s?
All right, Jacob. If you can't get it, you can say no, and I'll tell you. You got 4 more questions, man.
Just throw a guess out there.
It's a county in
Yes.
Michigan.
No, we're not giving hints.
Ooh, I like the hints.
Give
It's
him
a
the
county.
county. It's a county.
It is a county.
Jacob, you got 10 seconds.
Wayne. I don't know.
Whoa!
Last name? No hints.
Didn't
for the
ask for
last
that.
name.
You didn't ask for specifics.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Didn't ask for
Yes, he did.
specifics. No, you didn't.
No,
That's a
no,
dummy.
All right.
no. That is not. No, no.
Wayne.
Wayne.
All right.
You know
if-
what?
Wayne, baby.
I will not do the punishment if that is the number that puts him over, and we get.
Can we? How about this? How about we give him 50%? Because I did give him the county.
No,
50%. We'll give him a half a
you
point.
gave it. You wouldn't have even known.
What? Yeah.
That's the most like populated county too.
Wrong. No way.
There's a lot of counties in Michigan.
What?
They
Oh,
had
he's
to
gonna
choose.
pick Livingston.
All right,
You guys
all right.
What's
haven't
the
let
first
him
name?
guess. You guys haven't
What
let
else the
him
first
guess the
name?
last name. You guys haven't let him guess the last name yet.
Drew texted him.
Mackinac County. What's another first name? No, Jacob
All right.
does not know the fucking last name. It's been 10 seconds.
All right, Jacob, it has been 10 seconds. You got 3 seconds to spit something out. 1, 2, 3.
Gretzky.
You're done. There you go. Yeah, good
I
job.
don't like that.
All right. I like
Imagine saying the correct name and then getting the answer wrong, I guess. Okay.
Oh, that's
Okay.
the right name? Wayne
Barry
Gretzky? That was the
Sanders?
coach? That was the coach?
Wayne.
There's a million Waynes in the world. Bruce Wayne.
Wayne's World?
That's
Wayne's
his
World.
last name.
Well,
Hey.
guess what? It's a part of the fucking name, and he didn't get the actual name, so no
Can
credit.
you give him the answer?
He
Give
got
him the
Ford
answer.
Fields, the goddamn.
The name is Wayne Fontes.
Wait, his name is Wayne?
Yes.
Exactly why we get that question right. Good job, Jacob.
Thank
Good job,
you. Thank you.
Jacob.
Jacob.
Good job,
also
Jacob.
that
Good win.
At least half a
I
point.
guess. All right,
Just
damn,
half
you
a
guys
point.
talk a little. You guys are talking more than I was. Holy hell.
Give him a tenth of a point, maybe.
All right. We'll see what it comes down to in the end, but as of right now, that's no point.
Should
All
have
right.
a point.
Next question. What year did the Lions win their division prior to this last win last year, 2023? You got 10 seconds. It's a year.
Wasn't it 42? Wasn't it 1942? Had to have been.
So the division. Are you locking in with that?
I don't like the way you're
got
laughing
3
at the
seconds.
answer.
You got 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
I got nothing yet. I'll lock it in. Sure.
It was 1993.
93.
Barry Sanders.
That's way
We
later.
won the division. We won a playoff game, but we did not win anything big.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right.
It's okay.
It's big.
You're 0 for 2.
It's
You're
above
0 for 2.
average ass Lions question, but the last 2 questions we've had, but just saying.
Yeah.
Pretty sure my mom
You
had
might-
50-50 shot.
He
at
might
that.
just be showing his
Your mom
age.
would have
That's
no
what
clue.
it is.
You're
No
dead wrong.
offense, Noreen. Noreen's smart, beautiful woman. No chance she knows
Whoa,
us.
whoa.
All right, here we go.
Whoa.
I'm just
All right.
kidding.
George.
So think about recent times. I'm ignoring you guys. Now think about recent times. Right? So recent. I'm
Okay.
paging the question for you.
Yeah.
Which team did the Lions defeat in their last playoff victory?
No help.
You have 10 seconds.
Last season. Think hard.
That's
Wait, what did we say about no help? What did we
All
say
right,
about
George.
no help?
Come on, George.
I didn't know this was the Drew, George, and Jacob segment.
I'm just gonna throw one
Think
out
about who
there.
we played in the playoffs. Yeah,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
throw
Go
one
ahead.
out there. Was it LA? Did they beat the Rams?
That
Oh.
is an extremely, extremely good guess. But we beat one more team after them, and it was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh shit.
Hey,
It's a good guess, Jake. That was a good guess.
Jake, that was good.
It was a good guess. And that's why it makes this season interesting, Jacob, because we played LA and then the next team, we didn't reveal the answer.
Why are you speaking to him like he's a fourth grader?
We're teaching the average Lions fan all of a sudden.
What
Here's the
the?
cool thing, Jacob.
Wait, are we not supposed to have fun and be informative on here? Okay.
Think about it, Jacob.
We're supposed to get people interested in watching the Lions, so maybe telling the drama from the past and bringing it how it comes full circle is interesting, but okay, never mind.
Okay. We're locking in. We gotta move on.
All right, so we're giving
Move
the half
on.
we're giving
All
the
right,
half
all right,
point,
all right,
right?
Drew, suck.
All right. What is the name of the Detroit Lions official mascot?
This one my
These
mom
aren't
would.
crazy hard questions, George.
Insane question to ask. This one is like the fairest. This is the fairest. Okay, I'll give you this. This is a fair question, but holy smokes. We need a mascot
George.
change, I'll say.
Is
What's
his
he
name
do?
Rory?
Wow!
Yes!
Oh!
Got it.
Good
From
job,
the
Jacob.
dead, from the dead, Jacob. Holy hell!
That's right. That's right.
Good pull. Good pull.
Great answer,
That's what I'm
Jacob.
talking about.
That was a good pull. That was a good pull.
Say, do we like the mascot? I've never really loved the actual mascot. I think he looks kind of goofy. We like that?
Oh,
I like him. Yeah, he's a
what do
cool
you
guy.
want?
Williams,
You want like a
the
scary
lion?
lion? You want like a
I like
scary
Rory.
lion?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
what
His
are you hoping
hairdo
for?
looks like shit. His mane?
You mean his lion's mane?
His Lion's Mane
His
podcast?
hair? Should we get sponsored by Rory?
Hey George,
all right.
George, if you think you can do the job better, go do it.
Oh,
Yeah, you should, man.
Rory.
Call Cam Huizenga. That's not my job.
Your Sundays are free. Anyways. Facial reactions. All right, so
Fucking
I don't
hell.
think I asked this question.
It's a Barry Sanders
This one's
question.
fair.
You have to-
Who is the Lions' all-time leader in passing yards?
That's
How
fair.
does that work? Is that like total time with the Lions?
Just throwing
Yeah.
yards with the Lions.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's got to be Matt Stafford. It's got to be.
There we go.
There you go. Good job. Good job. Good
Yeah,
job, kid.
baby.
Yeah, boo boo baby question to end it. Nice.
I
Well,
think
Jacob, you will.
I think the last time we asked about receiving yards and he gave us the passing yard answer, Matt Stafford, which was cool,
That's what it
Jacob, that
was.
you knew that back then. But yeah,
That's
good
what
job.
it was.
Jacob, why are you treating him like a fucking third grader?
Jacob, that was really cool that you got
I'm talking to
that.
Jacob, but I'm talking to
Smarter than a
you.
first grader.
All right, everybody. Well, that wraps up our Week 3 recap with our matchup with the Arizona Cardinals. Tune in this Friday. Get the preview. Monday Night Football, baby. Prime time. Dan Gamble, baby. Let's get it. Woo!
And gamble like that.